Hi everybody, this is Pam Cuff here coming to you from my kitchen. I'm with Studio C where we're off the cuff. It's kind of a play on the name. We do spontaneous videos about whatever we want to. There's no specific trend or timing to the different kinds of approaches that we take. This morning we are in my kitchen. And so I'm just doing one of my little hacks that sometimes I have a tendency to do because I found out there's a lot of people out there who really don't know how to work with seasonings and flavorings, and it's kind of intimidating sometimes. And so there's a lot of people out there who just don't even try. And my aim is to those people who really don't, who stick with the recipe or the package, and I want you to try something else, because you're going to really be amazed by the different flavors and the different values and benefits that you can get. So I have a couple of little tricks and tips and hacks that are really fast. One of them that I'm doing today, I don't know about you guys, but we buy these little cuties and tangerines and oranges and all of these things, and we don't quite go through them, right? We shop a lot at Costco, and there's just the two of us. So sometimes we get to the end of the bag where there's like 5 or 6 of these left and they're going bad. And so I have figured out how I can use them. One of the things that I do is take one of these peel graters. I started doing this earlier, and then I realized, you know what? I don't know if there's very many people out here in my friends and family list that actually would take the time to do this if they weren't sure and hadn't seen somebody else do it. But let me tell you, this is a really highly beneficial thing to eat on a regular basis. These orange peels and gratings not only have a really high content of vitamin C and trace minerals, and they're very flavorful. So if you wash your oranges or your citrus, whatever you're going to grate here, if you wash it really good, and that means you have to wash it really good because nowadays you just don't know what's in there, right? But then you can just put it in one of these little things. Sometimes people feel like you have to do a fresh one. You don't. So I put them in these little cups like this, and I dry them. And then I put them, when they're really dry and powdery, I put them in a little baggie. You know, I just put them in a little baggie here after they're really dry, and I use them to flavor things. Now, the next thing that I do, of course, because they're getting a little old, is Grandpa loves his juice in the morning. So I got this amazing, I got this amazing thing here. Let me show it to you. This is an electric juicer, and this thing is absolutely amazing. So you can just cut your oranges or your tangerines or your cuties or whatever, and let me plug this in, and you just grate them super fast. And I don't know about you, but I do a lot of this kind of thing with citrus fruit. And look how it hollows it out perfectly. And because this grater has a filter on it, let me show you, see if I can get it up close. It has a filter on it, right? I'm dripping orange juice all over, but I did want you to see. It not only has the grater, but it has a filter on it, so all the seeds go directly into the basket, and you can juice a ton of fruit in a very short period of time. Now, sometimes people will take that juice and put it in the freezer in an ice cube tray and freeze it for later. And that works really great in smoothies and other things. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm using my a little bit of my grated juice, not only for Grandpa's juice for tomorrow, but I'm also going to use a tiny bit of it in the recipe that I'm making today. So then you just put like a cellophane wrapper or something over the top and seal it shut and put it in the fridge until tomorrow, and it'll be great. Today, what I'm actually going to do is I'm making an orange chocolate brownie, okay? So very quickly. The mix that I'm using, okay, the GHIRARDELli, the big box. You can buy a big box like that and it'll last you for a year or more. So if you're a person like me who likes to make brownies and give them away, or to bake things and give them away, then this works really great, especially when you have friends and family that you want to give them to. But today we're just making them for us, so I'm going to experiment with you. One of the things that I'm doing, of course, you empty the package, and this is how easy this stuff is. And it's absolutely delicious, okay? This stuff makes the most amazing brownies every single time. And it's just this easy. Cut open the bag, drop it in there, add your oil. We're going to break the egg into our cup because you just have to always make sure that you don't get any eggshells in your batter, right? So that came out perfect. So there's my egg. Okay, and then it says, let's see, it says 1/3 of a cup of water. So get my little cup back out here. One-third of a cup of water. I'm just going to add a little bit less, okay, because I want to actually add a little tiny smidgy of my juice, okay? Then I want to add some of my orange rind that I just did, okay? And I'm going to add enough that the orange flavor is going to be really pretty prominent. I don't want it to sit in the background. With the chocolate, it needs to be pretty prominent, okay? So we're just going to mix that. And I'm not going to mix it with the blender. I like a more rustic approach. I don't want it to be whipped. I want it to be more dense. So I'm just doing this. If you whip it and whip air into it, it gets more cake-like to me. I'm not really sure if I always love that. But if you do want a light, fluffy brownie, then you whip it, okay? Now, this has a really deep dark chocolate, as you can see. I actually am going to add a couple of my own favorite things. One is chocolate chips, because I want there to be a heavy chocolate presence and I want it to be dense, right? So we're mixing those in. Then I'm actually going to chop up some walnuts, because that will add a little bit of texture to these. I don't know if people have thought of this. A lot of people do add walnuts to their brownies. Some people don't like it, but I do. I think the texture is wonderful, the flavor that it adds, just a little bit of that bite of the walnuts. They're not sweet, right? So we're cutting the sweet, and it's always about balance. If you've seen my videos before, what we're trying to achieve is a balance between sweet and tart, right? Cut the sweet with the heat, cut the sweet with the tart, okay? We want to add just a little bit of a bite or something that's not sweet. So really rough cut, right? Put those in. All right, look at that. We're really getting somewhere now. Okay, it's a little thicker than I want it to be. I want a very moist brownie. Now, when you're using a mix, they've already measured everything for you. They've already determined how much of this and how much of that it's going to take to make this brownie absolutely perfect. So you have to be super careful. I'm going to actually add 1/4 of a teaspoon or tablespoon of this dark chocolate, just to get a little bit more bite. Okay, more chocolatey flavor. I know what you're thinking, but I've done this many times and it is amazing to me. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can add for your own personal preference if you want to. You can add a little bit more vanilla if you want to. You can whip it up and make it a much lighter brownie. But today I'm making something really rustic that I want to be dense and fudgy. And so this is why I'm adding the oranges to get that flavor of a chocolate orange and more of the bitter so that I can have the kind of combination of flavors that I'm looking for. So that's it. You put it in a bowl. That's already greased and floured. Okay, you want to have. I sprayed my bowl with Pam, and then I lightly floured it. I don't want a heavy flour. You know, sometimes people heavy flour it and you end up with flour on the outside of your brownies, but you don't want it to stick. So this works out really good. Just lightly floured. Spray the heck out of it. I'm using a glass bowl that's really deep. Okay. And just spray the heck out of it and then lightly flour it. And in the end, mostly the chocolate will absorb that little bit of flour that you have on the outside of the pan, but it will prevent it from sticking. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. And there you go. We're going to have a really nice chocolate brownie with a little bit of that orange flavor to it. Pretty simple. There's things that you can dry, not just citrus, but I also do my onions. When I pick my own green onions out of the garden, I stick them in a little dish and I let them air dry. I do that with all kinds of things. So you'll always see, like, I'm going to do this little shallot that was left over from a recipe that I made yesterday or the day before. So I'll just chop this up and I'll put it in a little dish and I'll let it air dry. You have to cover it up a little bit, you know, something that's breathable, and watch it because you don't want mold or anything else you don't want dust or anything else to get in there. But if you let it breathe and dry that on your counter, then it works out really great because they are more naturally intact. Once you apply heat to something that you're drying, it takes away some of the nutrients and kills some of the properties that are in that fruit or vegetable. So that's a little hint for you there. Anyway, hope that helps. If you like or find that my videos are giving you any additional information or challenges, or you feel like I'm doing you any good, give me a thumbs up and a like, and or share the video so that more people can see it. Mostly my videos are geared to people who have not tried different things and they generally stick to the recipe just to let you know, you don't need to stick to that. They make it good, but you can make it better. That's my motto, right? I say it all the time. Try new things. Don't be afraid. If it doesn't work out, that's great. It's just, something new and it's a little different experience than what you're used to, but it does encourage you to try other things. So anyway, thanks everybody. Hope you had a great time today just hanging out with me for just a minute and have a really great day. Bye.